Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, Episode 3, Adar. As I as I learned that was the pronunciation in the episode. This episode is directed by Wayne Yip, who I believe it's their first episode that we've seen. The first two were directed by a different person. This is written by John D. Payne and Patrick McKay, based on the works of J.R.R. Tolkien. Quick synopsis for this episode: Arondir finds himself captive. Galadriel and Halbrand explore a legendary kingdom, and Elendil is giving a new assignment, while Nori faces consequences. So yeah, really interesting stuff. We get introduced to a lot of new characters. Real quick, let me remind you of the cast, and I'll just go over the main people, mainly to avoid spoilers, because I don't want you to start looking into that stuff. But we know that the people I'm naming here, really the stories really revolve around them. So we have Morfydd Clark as Galadriel, Markella Kavanaugh as Nori Brandyfoot, Robert Armayo Elrond, and Ismael Cruz Cordova as Arondir. Um, so yeah, interesting stuff. I really like this episode. It really felt very grand in comparison to the previous two episodes, because this world is so expansive, and on this one I feel like I almost wanted a little call out to, like, you've unlocked a new area of the map, right, or something like that. So we do get to explore a new land, which looks amazing. The sets are so cool. Like, I really want to see some behind the scenes stuff as to how was this put into film, like what sets are real, like what are we, the it is this show kind of shows you, like, how we have so many really cool places here on Earth, like just overall, like in the planet, like really cool islands that just they look amazing, and that they got these super cool visuals. The show continues to deliver on the visuals. Let's go to the main. Well, I don't know if it's the main story, but it's the story that I'm most drawn to. Keeping up with Galadriel. We know that somebody rescued her and Halbrand at the end of the last episode, as they were adrift in the middle of the sea. And we come to a place where it's really interesting, because the show explores the relationship between elf and men, and they are always tenuous, right? But I feel like there's always this subsection of humans that want to be at peace with the elves, that want to cooperate with them. And I think it's the other way around the same, right? There's probably a subsection of elf that don't see humans as their allies, and there's some that know that they have to cooperate, as they all kind of live together in this um in this world. So really interesting stuff. There's a lot of tension for that. We get introduced to some new characters and really cool new location, this kingdom that some of you, if you're familiar with the lore, you're probably very familiar with. But yeah, I really like that stuff. We get introduced to some new characters, including Elendil, who's a captain in this new place, in his family. So really fun stuff. I like the Elendil a lot. I think he's a fun character. I like his family dynamic. I like his relationship with Galadriel. So I'm gonna be keeping an eye on that, because I hope Galadriel has finally found a few allies in this new place. Um, Next, let's go to the Arondir storyline. So yeah, Arondir has he we saw him kind of just pop off last week out of the screen. We didn't know what happened. Now we know kind of what's going on. He is being captive, and things continue to unfold, and in these villages all across the land, as we see here. We get a little bit more of an introduction as to what's going on. We get to see some really gnarly creatures, some really good costumes and stuff. Once again, it's really hard. Like, I'm not very good at telling what's practical and what's CGI or some other kind of special effect. So this one was a lot of fun. I like, this is probably where we get most of the action, as far as like an actual battle or a sequence that's relevant to like action. I think watching elves fight different creatures is always very exciting. They're very acrobatic. So that's really fun. I like the choreography. They introduced, like, with this specifically, this one really gnarly creature. So I think you guys are gonna enjoy that when you see it. Uh, and then finally we follow up with Nori. And yeah, the Harfoots are ready to move on. But as we know, this may present some difficulties for Nori. I'm very interested into what's going on. We know that this, from episode 1 and 2, this man that fell out of the sky needs help. But once again, like the Harfoots, it really feels like every community has been conditioned to just kind of fend for themselves and look out, and that makes sense in a world that was, in the brink of war and everything that happened prior. So I completely understand their mindset. But I like that there's these characters that feel like maybe that doesn't always have to be the norm. And obviously, this is the second age. We know eventually kind of what evolves into in the future, but it's really like those themes are constantly played throughout the show, right? Of like this society that kind of wants to be left alone to fend for themselves, and but they don't want any trouble with anyone else. But this also means maybe leaving people helpless or stuff like that, and like making those tough decisions. So I like the Harfoots. I like their like all their whole little setup of like this traveling caravan of like hiding in between the bushes and stuff like that because of their size. Really interesting stuff. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with Nori once some of these things may come to revelation. So overall, really enjoyed this episode as well. I think episode 2 is still my favorite so far, but this one's really good as well. I'm really enjoying the show. I'll keep doing these videos because I want to talk about the stuff a little bit, especially I usually do it right after I watch it. So let me know what some of your comments, questions are in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. Check out, we'll be going live on the weekends, either Saturday or Sunday, so stay tuned for that. On the next one, we should be talking about maybe D23, some of the Thor Love and Thunder, some stuff like that. So, yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Bye bye.